George Bailey, he's pretty good. He was pretty dominant in a few seasons there, good in the closing overs, but yeah, look, I can't lie. I think Ponting's just picked his Tassie mate there. Ben Lachlan, similar from Tasmania. He's the top wicket taker in BBL history, but that's more just due to volume. And then Malinga, not sure how he's made that team after 13 matches. But that's all I've got.
It's a miracle! Oh, yeah! What about that one? Unbelievable! Balotelli, Aguero! Crowd cheers. Here's Siddle. Oh, the ball is close! He's given him! He's given him! Peter Siddle's got a hat-trick on his birthday!
Welcome back to episode 96 of the On The Ball podcast. Bit of a new setup today. Lucky enough that Santa brought me some gifts to bring better content to you guys. New mic, and also we're using a different camera setup. So it might take a few episodes to perfect it, but we'll see how it goes today. Today I'm on my own, as you can tell. It's probably going to be a shorter one, but the other week I was thinking of in summer in Australia, cricket is really takes over, the Test cricket and the Big Bash in particular. So I was thinking of Big Bash content ideas, and I came up with a Big Bash best team ever. So greatest XI in the Big Bash history. I think there's been about 10 seasons. This might be the 11th, I'm guessing there. But and then, lucky enough, just a week after I came up with the idea, Ricky Ponting decided to release his. So I was kind of shouted about that, but at the same time, it's not like I'm competing with him. So I thought I'd still hop on the idea anyway, and I'll compare my side to the great Ricky Ponting, which is always fun. So may as well get right into it. Opening the batting, I've actually gone the exact same as Ricky Ponting. Hard to ignore these two. The current Melbourne Renegades opening pair, Aaron Finch is my number one. He's also the captain of the side. He's played for the Melbourne Renegades in his whole time in the BBL, never played for another team. He scored 2,358 runs in 67 innings. He has 18 50s and 200s, which is the most 50-plus scores in BBL history. He has the fourth highest average and the second most runs in total, and he's done that all with a strike rate of 136. So he definitely doesn't waste his time at the crease, but he definitely doesn't throw away his wicket either. He also captained the Renegades to the BBL 08 title, the final where they had a miraculous comeback to beat their rivals, the Stars. And as I mentioned, he's the captain, and he has captained the most games out of any player in the Big Bash history. He doesn't have the greatest win percentage. I think it's like 43. There were other contenders in the team with better percentages, but I just thought the experience of him as a captain. He also captains Australia in T20. So I don't know if he captains them in one day, actually. I think he does. So I think it's hard to pass up on that experience. So here's my opener. Opening with him, I hinted at it before, it's Shaun Marsh, his current Renegades opening partner. More famously at the Perth Scorchers, was one of the competition's best batsmen there. He made a formidable opening partnership with Michael Klingeiss, where one of them would score 70 plus every match. And that was a big reason why the Scorchers were so successful early on. He has played the whole time in the Big Bash, over 2,000 runs in just 54 innings, which is a lot less innings than most of the top 10. He has 19 50s, so just one less than Finch there. And he has the third most runs ever in Big Bash history, and that's still counting. He has done it at a slower strike rate than Finchy, one of the slowest strike rates in this team, but you kind of need that anchor, and if you're anchored to score at 127 of strike rate, that's pretty handy. He has the highest average in BBL history as well, with an average of 44. So pretty hard to leave Shaun Marsh out of this team. He won BBL 03, 04 and 06 with the Perth Scorchers as well. Number 3, I can't lie, there's a lot of opening batsmen in this team, because obviously that's where the best batsmen bat and they score the most runs. So I've turned Darcy Short into a number 3 here. I actually really wanted him to open. I think he's really explosive at the top of the order and essential in that opening power play to the Hobart Hurricanes, but I just thought with Shaun Marsh and Aaron Finch's stats, it was hard not to pick them. So Short's my number 3. As I mentioned, Hobart Hurricanes, he's only played about half of the seasons. He started in 2016, but he's certainly made an impact since coming into the competition. 1,866 runs in 48 innings. So that's the seventh most runs ever, and similar to Shaun Marsh, in not many innings at all. And he's done it at a strike rate of 142. So pretty incredible strike rate from Shaw, and he scores a lot of runs. Second highest average on top of that. So Marsh and Shaw, less innings than some of the other players in this team, but certainly quality over quantity from them. Fourth most 50-plus scores as well, which is impressive considering he only started in 2016. And another string to Shaw's bow is the fact that he can give us a part-time option. I always like to have a part-time spinner and a part-time pace bowler to go with your your four certified bowlers, because that way, depending on the pitch and the situation, you aren't stuck with one all-rounder. So he bowls left-arm leggies, and I think we could definitely use him, especially at the start. He often sneaks a couple overs in. Number 4, the top run scorer in BBL history, might get overtaken by Aaron Finch. I don't know how long he's out for with his current injury, but I think Finch is 70 runs behind him, but it is Chris Lynn. 2,421 runs in 77 innings at a strike rate of almost 150. I can't lie, I do think Chris Lynn has become a little bit overrated, but when you look at these stats, it's pretty incredible. Playing for the Brisbane Heat, played every season, 5th highest average as well. Most 50-plus scored, tied with Finchy with 20. So yeah, he's a must-have, I think. Punter left him out, and he also left Short out, so that we've already started to differ. Ricky Ponting had Brad Hodge at 3, Glenn Maxwell at 4, which we might touch on next, and George Bailey at 5. So I do think he was picking some of his mates there, if I'm completely honest with you. Number 5, I've gone with Glenn Maxwell, the big show. Probably, when you think of the BBL, I think most people immediately think of Glenn Maxwell. He does it all, bat, ball, and in the field. I didn't know this. He played for the Melbourne Renegades at the start of the competition, but he's made his name with the Melbourne Stars. He's now their captain as well. He scored over 2,000 runs in 73 innings. 5th most 50-plus scores in the history of the competition, which is seriously impressive from him because he rarely bats in the top 3. He's usually slides between 4 and 6, so very impressive there. 4th most runs in total, similar to Chris Lynn's strike rate of around 150, so pretty ridiculous middle order we're dealing with here. That's if they even get in with that top order. And in my opinion, there's no stats to back this up, but I think he is the best fielder in BBL history. Finchy made a comment last night saying Harvey is currently the best fielder in the world. Humble brag, but I actually play with Harvey. Can back that up. Very great, very impressive fielder. But yeah, Glenn Maxwell, I wonder how many runouts he's got over time on the MCG. People coming back for second with that big boundary, and his cannon of an arm cuts that off. He's such an impressive outfielder. He also gives us a part-time spin option. I'd rather bowl Darcy Short to Glenn Maxwell, but if we need him, part-time off spinners. Number 6, I've gone with a genuine all-rounder. Usually opens the batting, but there's not too many high-quality players who bat between 5 and 7 in the Big Bash, because obviously they would bat higher if they were high quality. He started with the Perth Scorchers and then moved to Victoria and now plays for the Melbourne Stars. It's Marcus Stoinis. The Stoin is scored over 1,800 runs in 62 innings, 8th most runs in BBL history at a strike rate of 130. 7th highest average, 6th most 50-plus scores. So once again, seriously impressive across the board. He's also a very handy bowler, great bowling average, great economy rate, good strike rate as a bowler, and he's also reliable at the death, which is pretty handy for a part-timer, or an all-rounder, should I say. At number 7, I've gone with Matthew Wade. I was kind of just hoping one of the batsmen I picked was going to be a keeper, but it didn't turn out that way. Ricky Ponting also went with Matthew Wade in this spot, and Stoinis at 6, so we've gone the same here. Probably one of the weaker spots in the side, not due to the fact that Matthew Wade's not good, just due to the fact that there's no, like I mentioned with Glenn Maxwell and Stoinis, there's no real specialist 5 to 7 batsmen in the Big Bash. So it was between who we were looking at. We were looking at Ben McDermott, who's actually put together a seriously impressive BBL resume. Alex Carey also, he's building, but Matthew Wade, it was hard to surpass him. He has missed the last couple of seasons due to being involved in the Australian Test setup, but there are a couple of years there opening the batting for the Hobart Hurricanes. where he absolutely killed it. Also was pretty solid in his years before that with the Renegades and the Stars. He has the 11th most runs in Big Bash history, 7th most 50-plus scores. So I think it's pretty fair to put him in there, one of the better keepers in Australia as well throughout the era. So yeah, I think Wade's definitely the best keeping option, but yeah, shout out to Ben McDermott because he was very close to getting picked, and Alex Carey. So well done to those guys as well. But Matthew Wade is my selection here. Now onto the fourth bowlers. This episode is actually going to be very short. Going to be lucky to get it past 15 minutes, but I knew that was the case. I'm playing golf tonight as well, so I kind of needed it to be a quick one. But my bowlers, I actually don't know what the setup is. I love spinners in T20 cricket, but I didn't want to pick two certified spinners, then have Maxwell and Short. I think having one spinner and then two part-time options along with three pace bowlers is the better setup than just having two quicks. But I do love spin, and I think they actually should be used more, even though they do get used so much. I actually think they're an underrated death option as well. In my local club, I know it's very different to professional cricket, but we used to bowl death overs with a spinner, and there are a couple times they got a hold of him, but usually it works pretty well because everyone just tries to hit it too hard. You've got to make up the power. But anyway, I'll stop rambling on. My number 8, same as punter. Yep, same as punter. I've actually got a very similar bowling attack to punter, but he's got some controversial selections down the bottom of the order. I've gone with Sean Abbott at number 8. Played for both the Sixers and the Thunder. More recently, the Sixers. Good bowling all-rounder, great fielder as well. Second most wickets in the history of the Big Bash. He's taken 99 wickets in 76 innings. 8th best bowling strike rate the tournament has seen, and he's been a bit of a stalwart. The Sixers have had a core of players, and that's why they've been so dominant over the years. Probably the best franchise over the decade, if not second to the Scorchers. They've had Abbott, O'Keefe, Enrique, Silk, just to name a few, who have been ever present in that Sixers lineup, and they can definitely take credit for where the franchise is today. And I think Sean Abbott is a must-have in your BBL best team of all time. Number 9, I've gone with the best international player the Big Bash has ever seen. It's Rashid Khan. He's only played, I think, 5 seasons. I think this is his 5th. He's played since 2017. Only ever played for the Adelaide Strikers, but his stats are ridiculous for a spinner. He's a leg spinner, as I'm sure you all know, watching young Afghan, absolute talent. I don't know why I'm acting like I'm unearthing some diamond here. Everyone knows who Rashid Khan is. 6th best economy rate in BBL history. 4th best bowling average. 11th most wickets, and he's only played less than half the BBL season, so I think he's definitely a must-have. He's the only international player in my team. Ricky Ponting had Malinga in at number 11, so he had 2 internationals, but Malinga played 13 matches, so I can't lie, punter, that's absolute shite from you, brother. You can't be having someone who played 13 matches in your best team ever. So yeah, Rashid Khan, he's a must for me. Nathan Lyon was close, but that was only going to be if I picked 2 spinners. He's actually had very impressive seasons in the Big Bash, but Rashid Khan, got to have him in there. My number 10, I can't lie, this is definitely the weakest spot on the side, I think. There's a few guys floating around, Dan Christian, Ben Lachlan, but I've gone with James Faulkner. Not the biggest fan of him, don't know him personally, but I just don't think I can't say I don't think he's a great bloke, that's harsh, but played for the Hobart Hurricanes and the Melbourne Stars. 80 wickets in 70 innings, so similar to Sean Abbott there. 4th most wickets of all time, so he's got the volume. Economy rate of mid-7s, which is pretty impressive for someone who's made a living out of bowling in the power play and at the death. Average in the low 20s, which is tough to find for someone who's played that many games. And yeah, also used to be able to do a job with the bat, but got him down at 10 here, so probably won't be required. But I'm sure he could still hit an occasional 15, 20 if we need him, down at number 10. And to round out my side, I've got AJ Tye. He wasn't in Ricky Ponting's team. Either was James Faulkner. Ricky Ponting picked Ben Lachlan, which is very fair. But I've gone with who I believe is the best death bowler in BBL history. I reckon he kind of revolutionised the BBL a little bit. I think early on, the Big Bash, it was just Australian quicks, blokes like I don't want to name names, but it was just blokes who just bowled back of a length, and they kind of just got away with doing that. But AJ Ty was the first person who really had a crack at the T20 way of playing. He had all those slower balls. He famously brought in the knuckleball. He's played for both the Scorchers and Thunder. Funny story. We went to a Thunder's Renegades game at Eddie had me and my family, and AJ Ty was actually 12th man. Actually, yeah, that was the Thunder. I was thinking of another game where I saw the Sixers, but he was 12th man. This is before anyone knew who he was, and he was probably one of the nicest guys I've ever met in terms of cricketers. He came up to us because the Thunder, they got smashed, so they went straight into the rooms, and he came up to us. He said, like, hopefully the boys come out, but I'm not sure they will. I'll let you know. And yeah, it was just nice of him to address us. He didn't have to, really. So shout out to him. But back to his stats, he's taken 74 wickets in 55 innings. Most 4+ wicket hauls in BBL history, which is pretty impressive considering he's only played 55 matches. So he's in the top 15 in strike rate and average as well. So he doesn't quite have the actually, 74 wickets is a lot. I don't know why I'm saying he doesn't have the volume. So yeah, he's down at 11. Best change-up bowler the BBL's seen. Best death bowler as well. So I think he's a must-have in your team. Even though Ricky Ponting gave him the miss, which I think was very stiff. So yeah, that's my 11. A few players who missed out that were quite unlucky. Michael Klinger, he was always a stalwart at the top of the order, but there was such competition up there, it was hard to pick him. Or John O'Wells, he's probably the best middle order batsman in terms of like 4 to 7 that the BBL's seen, but there just wasn't a spot for him in the team, unfortunately. Nathan Lyon went close, Ben McDermott went close, Ben Lachlan went close. There were quite a few unlucky blokes, but it's a very tough team to pick. Interested to see how this team evolves over time, because this is obviously only the first 10 years or so of the competition. So I wonder if these guys will stick around in teams like this for a while, or whether a new generation of players change the shape of the game pretty quickly. But yeah, a few differences to Ponting. He had Brad Hodge, which Brad Hodge had quite a good average, but for me, I much prefer a Darcy Short type to Brad Hodge. I guess you theoretically want someone who's a bit more solid in terms of the fact if you lose like 2 early wickets, but I think these guys are also talented. I think they would be versatile enough to do that. George Bailey, he's pretty good. He was pretty dominant in a few seasons there, good in the closing overs, but yeah, look, I can't lie. I think Ponting's just picked his Tassie mate there. Ben Lachlan, similar from Tasmania. He's the top wicket taker in BBL history, but that's more just due to volume. And then Malinga, not sure how he's made that team after 13 matches. But that's all I've got for you today. Very short episode, but don't worry, there's going to be plenty more to come in 2021, really. I forget that 2021's in only 2 days. So I hope you all had a great holiday season while it's still going, and I wish you all a happy New Year's. Lots more content to come. We're continuing our NFL love on this show with the playoffs coming up, and we will be discussing more cricket as well. And I think there'll be a few more general episodes coming up now that we're in holidays. Can get a few more guests on as well. I'm eyeing off a best sporting moments of 2020 episode in the future, so looking forward to that one. And yeah, stay tuned. Hope you're all enjoying the Big Bash and the Test cricket. But yeah, bye for now. Thanks for tuning in, and yeah, peace.